But we're going to get straight into things. Obviously, we've had a whole week on the YouTube channel and on phillysportsnetwork.com of grinding out as much Eagles content as we can. Like, we have been squeezing these cow udders and getting as much calcium as we can. There is enough to make a whole batch of fromage fraise. Alright, we're talking yogurts, we're talking cream, we're talking ice cream. We've got a lot of content here at PSM. So I don't want to harp on the same points. It's Friday, it's the weekend, we want to talk about the Falcons, but before we get to that, there's something a bit more pressing, isn't there? There's something you all want to talk about. There's something that's just hot on your lips. And no, it's not LJ's dodgy haircut because he hasn't slicked it back because he's run out of hairspray as he holds up deodorant. It's something that's going down in Miami. And it's not dodgy, and I'm not going there. So get those ideas out your head now, alright? But Miami are a train wreck. I don't know what's happened to them. The week one fixture against Baltimore started promisingly enough for the first 17 seconds, and it derailed from there, sort of like most of my recent encounters with females. But after that game, after the absolute mess of a showing on both offense and defense, there was a report that came out that said players are now talking to their agents about requesting trades. That's fine. I don't know how that report came about. Like, it's like someone's in the locker room going, oh, so you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it. Like, that doesn't, I don't know, that's a bizarre report. Anyway, one of the players reportedly allowed to now seek a trade is 22-year-old Minkah Fitzpatrick. He plays safety, he plays corner, he plays just about everywhere except quarterback, and the guy's an absolute stud. Couple of things before we get into this though. There's something you should know about little Minkah. And that is the fact that if we're talking from a trade perspective, you know where this is going. It's whether the Eagles should or shouldn't trade for Minkah Fitzy. I'm never going to get a good nickname here, am I? But the guy's only 22. He's going to turn 23 in November. He's only 10 months older than Trayvon Diggs, Alabama cornerback prospect. Some of you may have heard of him. And 22 months older than Grant Delpit, an LSU safety prospect who again could well be a first round pick. So he's got youth on his side, he's got a season under his belt, and there is a natural connection to old Matty Burke, the parrot on Jim Schwartz's shoulder. How you doing, Matt? You alright? You good? You good? We got to run. What's that third down blitz? Yeah? Go on then. That's how that partnership is definitely panning out. I can see that a mile away. The issue is, the Matt Burke thing, he used him everywhere, okay? Mink is not a happy bunny because he's been thrown inside the box. Someone who played 95 snaps last year. Okay? Now, the quote he gave NFL.com was the following. That he's not comfortable in the role. And he said, let me just find it on here. You can tell this is live, right? He said, she's not wrong, referring to my ex-girlfriend, saying what a massive stud Liam was. No, he's talking about his mum. Not that his mum was my ex-girlfriend. Coach has asked me to do something right now. I got to do what they asked me to do. If we have some discussions in the future, we'll have those discussions. Well, that was clarity. If I walk to work tomorrow, I'll walk to work tomorrow. Thanks, Minkah. I'm really happy that we knocked. That's a breakthrough. That is a real breakthrough. If I eat breakfast, I'll eat breakfast. So good that breakfast is being eaten. But he says that I'm not 215, I'm not 220, so playing in the box isn't best suited for me. That's what coach is asking me to do. Brilliant. Okay, right, let's get into a discussion, because obviously there's one other player with a great amount of versatility that we can compare him to, and that is Malcolm Jenkins. Now, the Eagles haven't paid Malcolm Jenkins any guaranteed money, despite giving Alshon Jeffrey a bump, despite making all of these moves towards the end of the off-season. They didn't give Malcolm Jenkins a payday, and that was a little bit upset. That's the one aspect of the off-season I wasn't sold on. I wasn't a big fan of that. It just didn't sit right. I think the guy's earned it. He played in 99% of snaps last year. But as a rookie, Minkah played in 379 slot snaps, 281 outside, 166 at deep safety, 95 in the box, and 23 on the defensive line. So safe to say Matt Burke got his money's worth, or just kind of blindly aimed it at a field and threw a dart and was like, Minkah's going to play over there. Oh, he's a wide receiver. Like, it was a bizarre year for the Miami defense, and I don't think he utilised Minkah as he was meant to be intended at all. So it worries me that then Matt would be whispering in Schwartz's ear going, yeah, do that, Jim, put him over there again, that works, because it just won't. But I think the Eagles system would fit what Minkah brings to the table, which is a very diverse skill set, a supreme athletic skill set, and someone that just hits like an absolute freight train. Now, I think if you compare the stats, if you look at his input in the league so far, where he's going to line up, you can make the case where it would make more logical sense to bring in Kutsende. Ha! So I had to get out of my system. It's been a while, lads. I'm sorry. Re-keep the 4th round pick and put him in at like the 3rd safety spot behind McLeod. If you want to play over the top, that's fine. The Eagles had 55%, I believe, of snaps last week with only 1 linebacker on the field. So that was brilliant. That was great. That went really well. So given in that they've already got a lot of defensive backs, they've already got 2 slot corners, arguably 3 if you count Sidney Jones and Crave on an IR, it would just make sense to bring him in, have him over the top alongside Rodney McLeod, and then bearing in mind that Rodney McLeod's contract situation isn't exactly gleaming. He had to forfeit all of that guaranteed money because he hurt himself last year. Malcolm Jenkins has got no guaranteed money because the Eagles just haven't done anything there. You get the insurance policy. You get the next generation in the position. Now, the Eagles didn't take a safety this year, much to the confusion of many, and then they instead brought in 2 previous free agents in Jonathan Cyprian, hashtag SIP Squad, and Andrew Sunday. Ah! So to me, it makes sense. I get the move. You can then have freer reign over Malcolm Jenkins. You know if McLeod does go down, you know if there have to be snap limits or rotation. You've got a young guy there you can develop. The guy's 22 years old. He has 4 years left on his contract. The problem is, Miami don't want to win. And sending any player to Miami is killing his career before it's even started. Right? Now, they've just placed Julian Davenport on injured reserve, so there's going to be naturally ties to Halapoulivaati Vaitai, which I don't know if I agree with. I think from a trade perspective it makes sense, but I don't want to see Vaitai lose his career in Miami. He's done well in Philly. Like, no, come on. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Like, I don't know what you give up, because the Dolphins realistically only want draft capital. Would I give up a 1st round pick? Yeah, I'll give a 2nd. We can debate a 1st. Maybe a 2021 1st, if you want to get tricky. Or maybe a conditional 2nd, or a 2nd and a conditional 3rd, depending on snap counts. Or a 2nd and a conditional 3rd. And I don't want to say his name, but Jordan Howard, he was already mentioned with the Melvin Gordon talks. It's not the end of the... I don't want to say it. I'm not saying it. We're not putting him in there. But if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm certainly willing to negotiate a price. They fleeced Miami with the Jay Ajayi trade. I know that's not going to forebode well going into these trade conversations, but I don't see the real problem here. Like, I think this could be a great addition to the team. It's a no-brainer in terms of what he brings to the table. Because you've got Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas, who are currently rotating outside at corner. Avonte Maddox seems to have the nickel bit locked down. So why not just bring in someone else? Like, have the extra safety depth there. Like, last week Fitzpatrick wasn't brilliant. I mean, he allowed all 6 passes. I think he gave up over 100 yards, so it wasn't a stellar performance. And was that down to scheme? I think maybe that's why he's kicking around saying he wants out now. It's sort of like when your friends at work, isn't it? And they have to stay behind and you're all going out for drinks, and then matey boy's just there cleaning for an hour. No customers, nothing to do. Sat waiting, knowing that he's wasting the next hour of his life. That's what Minkah's doing. He wants out. I don't blame him. But his 69 overall passer rating pales in comparison to his 53.4 passer rating allowed in the slot. Now that's overall compared to the slot for Minkah. The guy is a meaty defensive back. He had a 78 overall coverage grade from Pro Football Focus. I don't know what more you want to say. Like, he's elite in the slot. He's elite outside. He's got great physical tendencies. He fits what the Eagles want to do. They just don't want to play him in the... But, like, grow him into that Malcolm Jenkins role. I'm sure if you play him behind Jenkins and McLeod, 2 veterans, 2 high-character guys, like, he's going to want to catch on. So if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm just saying, like, throw whatever Miami want. Whatever draft assets you want. You want to tank for Tua, or Trev, or Terry, or Thomas, or Tuzan. It's like Susan with a T. Go do it. Just take what you want. Take a 2nd and a 3rd. Take a 2nd and a 4th. Take a 2nd and Big V. Take a 2nd and Howard. Take a 2nd and Clement. Just take it. Go. Just go and do your thing. And the Eagles can then take Minkah. And jobs are good in. Jobs are good. I don't know what more you can want from that. It just makes so much sense for Fitzpatrick. That could be the Eagles' long-term answer at safety. In 4 years' time, he'll be 26. At the end of that rookie deal, he has a 5th-year option. The Eagles can tag him there. That's a really good plan to have. A really, really good plan. That you're not then looking again for safeties that they won't draft. Like, we spent a whole off-season looking at guys like Jonathan Abrams and looking at some of the top safeties in this class. Just fall and fall and fall and then get picked up. And then the Eagles take Clayton Thorson. And I'm not singing the song. Alright? I'm not doing it. So that was the first point. What would I give up for Minkah Fitzpatrick? Anything Miami will take at this point. Put it this way. Alright, if you see a girl that you really like, or a man, ladies, I know there are a few ladies watching this, shout out to Kiri Lynn, PSN's biggest hype woman, or hype person, to be honest, she just kills everything. You've got your eye on someone, but they're in a bit of a grotty relationship. Think The Office with Jim Halpert and Pam, or The Office UK with Tim and Dawn, alright? She's in a dodgy relationship, she's not happy, she wants out. Would you crash the wedding? Because if your hand's going up, you're giving a lot for Minkah, alright? If your hand's, not really, then don't. And let the Dolphins keep Minkah and he can rot. But I don't think that'll happen. I would be very surprised if the Eagles don't make a push for a safety that fits this team, that fits this scheme, that fits Matt Burke's weird ideology of just throwing him around the field. Bearing in mind, again, like, you spent a year with him, probably played a big hand in bringing him in. I think that's going to be massive. The Eagles have got all the ammunition to make a run at him, to try and convince him. You'll be playing for a winning team. Even Akeem Spence, former teammate, they can buddy up and have a little cuddle. Why not? Why can't they just have a little spoon, be roommates, have a popcorn night, watch QB1 on Netflix? I'm down for it. Just do whatever it can. Hashtag free Mink. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments, or on iTunes or Twitter, at Liam Jenkins PSN, at Philadelphia SM, whichever one you feel like tweeting me at. Go give me a tweet. I'd appreciate to hear your feedback.